I think 1953's Peter Pan, the studio's 14th theatrical release, is one of those films that everyone knows but shockingly few have actually seen. Because if everyone had actually seen this movie, there'd be a lot more discourse about how fucking racist it is.
Many moons, red man fight pale face, lost boys.
I mean, I'm sure I don't have to explain the premise of the film to anyone who hasn't seen it. Peter Pan is a boy who never ages, and with the aid of his fairy Tinkerbell, he fights against the evil Captain Hook. Everyone knows that. But what most of them don't seem to know is the plot of the actual Disney movie, which is as follows. Peter Pan shows up outside the bedroom window of a bunch of children one night and abducts them away on an incredibly dangerous adventure. One of the kids that Peter Pan finesses into accompanying him on this journey is a girl named Wendy, who Tinkerbell immediately gets jealous of because Tinkerbell is in love with Peter Pan. Now, something about this smells sussy to me, because Tinkerbell is implied to be immortal in this film, so she's probably thousands of years old, and she has a crush on a little boy. But then again, Peter doesn't age, so for all we know, he's actually like a middle-aged man stuck in the body of a little boy.
I am Peter Pan.
But then that would make Peter the creepy one for flirting with Wendy, and no matter how you look at it, someone here is creepy. This jealousy that Tinkerbell feels towards Wendy, who receives some mild affection from Peter, drives her to try as hard as she can to kill Wendy at every opportunity she can find. That's not some kind of extrapolation or exaggeration of the story, that's what happens.
Don't you know you might have killed her? Tinkerbell?
Tinkerbell, who is one of the most iconic Disney characters appearing all over their theme parks and DVD intros, is a character who, in her only appearance in a mainline Disney film, repeatedly tries to murder a child because of her pedophilic urges. Don't worry though, that plotline will quickly leave your mind once the racism kicks in.
Now remember, the Indian is cunning, but not intelligent.
I don't know how Disney justifies removing other films from their streaming service for racism when they've allowed this one to stay up, which I think is arguably the very worst.
Now you know why the red man's red.
Make Mine Music's crime was that it had a song that briefly includes a line deemed to make use of black scent. This movie straight up depicts Native Americans as subhuman savages that white people should not mingle or associate with. Thank God they never go to Cannibal Cove. It is a plot point in the film that Wendy becomes disenfranchised with Peter and the island because she hates the Indians so much.
Get him firewood.
Do you want to stay here and grow up like savages?
I have never seen a depiction of Native Americans that is this offensive before in my life, but this movie gets to stay on Disney Plus because it's just so iconic, you know? It seems the children's minds have been corrupted by the Indians to the extent that they can't even remember their own parents now.
Surely you haven't forgotten our real mother?
Did she have silky ears?
Oh, no, Michael. That was Nana.
But it's okay because Wendy comes to the rescue by reminding the kids of the lives and Western values they left behind.
Well, a mother, a real mother, is the most wonderful person in the world.
Which causes the kids to immediately renounce this new lifestyle they've embraced.
Your mother and mine.
Oh yeah, I'm white. Get that gross native paint off my face. Yuck. In all fairness, the meaning behind this scene is supposed to be that Wendy is reminding the children of the lives they left behind, and they accept that growing up is inevitable and they can't live in a world of imagination and childishness like Peter Pan does. However, the way it's executed just ends up making it seem like the meaning behind the scene is that they're rejecting native culture so that they can go back to their superior white civilization. And in the spirit of this film not knowing if it wants to be the most racist Disney movie or the most sexist Disney movie, cue Tinkerbell. The last we saw of her, she'd been banished when Peter Pan found out she was trying to murder Wendy.
Tinkerbell, I hereby banish you forever.
Captain Hook catches wind of this, and since women have such easily manipulatable femoid minds,
Oh yes, a jealous female can be tricked into anything.
he stages a meeting with her and pretty much immediately tricks her into giving away the location of Peter's secret hideout on the condition that Hook will kidnap and presumably kill Wendy.
We'll Shanghai Wendy. Take her to sea with us. With her gone, Peter will soon forget this mad infatuation. What's that, my dear? You could show us the way?
She fucking sells out her only friend and compromises the safety of a bunch of innocent children out of jealousy. She's literally worse than most Disney villains. What the fuck?
Thank you, my dear. You've been most helpful.
Deserved. So Hook finds Peter's hideout and the two of them have an epic final battle. Peter Pan decides that this is a good time to let his massive ego get in the way of everyone's safety, and he refuses to use his powers against Hook so that he can prove he doesn't need them to beat him.
You wouldn't dare fight old Hook, man to man.
I'll fight you man to man, with one hand behind my back.
Die!
Fly, Peter! Fly!
No!
Children are in danger. Children that you brought here. Just fly, goddammit. You can't just artificially add tension into your climax by making the main character a giant dingus. Okay, well sometimes you can, but this isn't one of those times. Of course, Peter wins and Captain Hook humps the ocean to safety. Also, Tinkerbell saves Peter from a bomb and then the movie acts like she's redeemed herself. Yeah. Sure. So in the many years since this film has come out and cocky main characters have become the hottest new thing, I think writers have since learned that there is a limit to how cocky you can make your lead character until it will start to make an audience resent them. And I think rule one is that if a character's innate cockiness results in them putting other characters in danger, audiences will not like them. The only way that can work is if it's an intentional character flaw that's part of a larger arc. Maybe if Peter Pan's refusal to use his powers resulted in one of his friends actually getting hurt, he would have learned that no matter how invincible he may be, the people around him are not, and he has to actually take accountability for his actions. And in an ironic kind of way, he would have grown up. It would have been the children teaching him something. So what do I think of this film as a film, minus the many relics of its era that it contains? While it has some decent animation and some fun fight scenes, I feel like this film as a whole lacks important pieces of a compelling family-friendly story. None of the main characters are actually likable, least of all this insane psychopath bitch, and none of them have arcs. Wendy is set up as a child who needs to accept that growing up is a natural part of life, and at the end, the movie tells us that Wendy has grown up, but we don't really see why. We don't see her become more mature or wise. All that happens is she gets bored of Neverland and says she wants to go home. That equals growing up, I suppose. Now, this is most likely a result of the story showing its age, as had it been written today, there likely would have been more effort put into giving Wendy a concrete arc where you see her become less naive and more mature as the film goes, as opposed to just wanting to leave because she hates natives. But hey, even this version of the story isn't as old-fashioned as the original one, in which Tinkerbell dies at the end and Peter Pan has no long-term memory. Google it. Unfortunately, this version has a happy ending for everyone, including Tinkerbell. I personally would have preferred an ending where Tinkerbell was sent to Guantanamo Bay to pay for her crimes, but that's just me. You know that video you just watched? Well, guess what? It was actually a snippet from a larger video that you can watch here, if you have the time. I mean, I guess it's up to you. I would recommend you watch it, but you know, it's your call. I mean, I don't have time to wait on you anyways. I got birds to feed. But please watch it.